It's a massive lake surrounded by wild, undeveloped shores. A paradise for boating and fishing with some of the cleanest waters in America. This is a summer vacation destination that's really tough to beat, especially if you can play like this.
I think there's at least 6 or maybe even 8 bedrooms on this boat.
Get ready to explore Arkansas's Lake Ouachita, next on Motion. For those who live here, the wild beauty of central Arkansas is nothing new. But for a few guys who call the Sierra Nevada mountains of California home and who are lucky enough to travel America making this show, took us completely by surprise. We set out to explore Lake Ouachita just outside of Hot Springs National Park in Arkansas. In addition to having some of the cleanest waters in the country, this lake has the rare distinction of being completely surrounded by national forest, meaning its 700 miles of shoreline are undeveloped. To see a lake this big and beautiful, we were lucky enough to team up with Wake Zone Luxury Houseboat Rentals at the Crystal Springs Marina, one of the top full-service outfitters on the lake. And to prove they are known across the country for unheard-of customer service, they put us on their flagship, the 80-foot Shirley Ann. These mega houseboats spare no expense in luxury accommodations, something we saw firsthand with jaw-dropping surprise the minute we got to the dock.
This is the Shirley Ann. Shirley Ann is our mothership flagship. 20 by 80?
20 by 80
20
feet.
by 80 feet. 6 bedrooms, queen-size beds, 2 full baths, washer and a dryer. There's a wine chiller on this boat. Have you been in this boat? Go in there and look at that. There's a wine chiller.
All
All
right. It's pretty awesome.
Go up top and get in the hot tub. Come back down and dry off.
For this episode, we decided to invite someone very special to us who has always been there, our dad, Steve Jones. Technically our stepdad, he's a guy that's put up with a lot raising Jeff and I since we were very young. So sharing an experience like this on such a beautiful lake, on such an over-the-top boat, was something we were all looking forward to.
Well, you can see how enormous this boat is. It's almost 80 feet long. And yeah, that can be intimidating to people who've never driven a boat, or even for those who have. But I gotta say, these guys are so accommodating. Have a captain on call that can park the boat for you. And if you need him to move the boat, say you want to move campsites, Captain Chris will cruise on out here on a smaller boat and come and take care of all that for you. So don't let intimidation of this big size boat stop you from coming out and enjoying these comfortable rigs, man, because yeah, we're wasting an awful lot of space just being 4 of us out here. But we'll see if we can't find some friends along the way.
Now, we've done some shows with boats like this before on Lake Mead and Lake Powell, but having someone that knows the lake and how to pilot a boat that's as long as 2 school buses is a big stress reliever, allowing the crew and I to really focus on our work.
Yeah, they always told me they were out working. This is kind of makes me think that they were lying a bit to me, I think.
As we sailed out of the marina and through a narrow notch in the pine-covered mountains, we began to settle into the beauty of Lake Ouachita and the surrounding national forest. The plan was to have Chris take the Shirley Ann out to a spot Wake Zone owners Wendy and Shane had picked out. They'd be waiting for us there to secure the boat to shore and then leave us for 3 days of filming. They also let us take the smaller Sea Ray ski boat to explore the lake's 200 islands and winding shorelines, since the big boat would be fixed at one location.
Right out of here to our right, off that point I'd say probably about 100 yards. There's 40, 50 foot pines sticking up.
You see the tops of them getting close?
Oh yeah, once you get closer over there, and people mess their lower units, their engines up all the time. So you really kind of got to know where you're going. Memorial Day to Labor Day, pretty much, and then we go up till probably the middle of September, which I prefer the best time in house.
The color gets pretty good here,
oh,
the trees.
It's awesome, the trees. Till you can get in the water until about the end of September, and after that, the water's just too cold.
Once we cleared the Narrows, we got our first glimpse at how massive Lake Ouachita is. The middle of the lake is dotted with islands of all sizes and was so refreshing to see so much shoreline devoid of homes, hotels, and mega resorts. It's the kind of place that truly transports you from the hustle and bustle of other resort locations, perfect for finding a little solitude.
All right. Well, this isn't a typical show that we would do, but I'd like to, on each episode, like to kind of get out and find my own solitude, collect my thoughts. On a boat that's 80 feet long, all you got to do is just walk to one end where people aren't. You've got total solitude. You can see everybody's up there. Watch this. Hey, Jeff, you're an idiot. See? You didn't even hear me. Totally lost.
After chugging along in the Shirley Ann for an hour or so, Captain Chris brought us here, to a point at the head of a secluded cove, one of Wendy and Shane's favorite spots to camp.
We're gonna beach it, Greg?
I think so. Yeah. Looks like we're gonna run aground. Island right ahead.
Hey, get in this little notch right here, Pike. Center up on that notch.
After dropping us off, the Wake Zone team worked to secure the boat with long lines, another example of customer service you don't find everywhere. After sharing a cold beer with the Wake Zone crew and getting a few final tips on what to expect, we said goodbye to our hosts and got to work. First up, shooting an amazing sunset over the lake. With a full kitchen and some good food on board, it didn't take long to begin enjoying our comfy digs for the next few days on the lake. Coming up next, a hike into the lakeside forest is cut short when we discover a motion nemesis hidden in the trees.
Ah! I don't like it.
Then, it's a rough ride for our guest hiker as we set out to explore one of the lake's 200 islands. And it's a jumpin' good time right off the back of the boat and into the clean waters of Lake Ouachita when motion returns. We traveled to central Arkansas to discover the beauty of Lake Ouachita near Hot Springs. We teamed up with Wake Zone Luxury Houseboat Rentals, who have set us up in style on their 80-foot flagship, the Shirley Ann. We brought along our dad as the guest hiker on this one to prove to him that we actually do work hard shooting motion. But after seeing this crazy huge boat and the beauty of the lake, he wasn't exactly convinced. Sunrise on day 2 came with hot and incredibly humid weather, so we decided to start things off with a hike into the Ouachita National Forest that surrounds the lake's 690 miles of shoreline. On first glance, the clean forest floor and thin underbrush made for a perfect place to explore on foot. But 50 yards into the trees, our opinion of that changed.
Freak, there's webs freaking everywhere. We thought it was a good idea to go on a little nature hike. John, for God's sakes, would you go first? You have some sticks.
There you go. I've walked through some strong webs already on this little outing.
I'd keep a stick in your hand.
Well, then we're going to put you on point. It's like Moses parting the sea. Oh, God. Make sure you know what he's doing now. Oh! He's still up. He's still up. Okay, who's going first? John.
Yeah.
Really?
You're the guide.
Ah! I don't like it. I don't want it. Okay, let's follow John's. So we really recommend getting out and exploring the woodlands here off the shore. Especially when you have a brave man with a stick. Always bring a brave man with a stick.
After doing the limbo under some spider webs for a while, we opted for the shoreline hike experience. As we got back to the boat, we were greeted by Shane and Chris from Wake Zone, who thought we would appreciate a few more toys to play with.
Play music out here.
Just a little.
There you go.
Oh man, I should make some noise with that. Thank you, buddy. CC rocking a harmony. Takamine, we'll take that all day. Oh, nice. Capos and picks and tuners. Oh, you guys are on it.
In addition to the guitar, they brought out a personal watercraft, kayak, stand-up paddleboard, and the gear to do something the locals love here called jugging, a special technique for catching some of the lake's large catfish.
Like across the way there, we got the big chunk rock. Toss this out in about 3 foot of water. Check it about 2 or 3 hours later, right before dark. You may have a big flathead catfish on there. Skin him up. Supper time.
Nice.
Lake Ouachita was created after the Army Corps of Engineers built the Blakely Mountain Dam in 1853. The lake was created for hydroelectric power and flood control. The concept to keep the lake surrounded by national forest is what makes this place so special. It is so rare to have this much shoreline of a lake with this kind of scenic beauty, untouched by development. When we got here and realized how wild the entire shoreline was, it totally changed our vibe for this trip, in a very good way. Since Lake Ouachita is known for its clean waters and 200 different islands, we decided to take the personal watercraft out to find some smaller islands to investigate. After skimming across the smooth waters, we found a tiny island here near the middle of the lake and came ashore for a look around.
Okay, well, after a, little suspect landing, he's working on it. Those things are kind of weird, right?
Hour one of my jet skiing capabilities, yes.
I think you're doing a
We
fabulous
did
job.
okay. It's that twitchy guy sitting in the back that's bothering my technique.
I won't stay still,
Yeah.
huh?
You have to keep your hands off my hips.
Well, anyways, we just found one of the, 200 islands that are out here, and we're just kind of cruising around just seeing what kind of treasures we can find. Like this.
Higher.
That's a pretty decent tread still on there. See, this would be a neat thing you could do where you could rent just a wave runner or a ski boat or even a small skiff and come out here with some camp gear and pick one of these little islands and have it all to yourself. Because you can see, oh my God, this is legit. Look at this little place. Nice shaded, flat little spots, several tent sites. Again, this is all freedom camping out here since I'm in the National Forest.
We always have a great time with guest hikers, but this one was extra special. Sharing the discovery of a new place as special as this lake and taking time for life's simple pleasures is what it's all about.
Let's do some rock skipping. This looks like it's all slate rock in here, so it's really some of the best.
Since we had a long ride back to the Shirley Inn, and because Jonesy was a little sketchy at the controls of the jet ski, I decided to take us home.
We're back to our little craft. Jonesy, you mind
Yes,
if I
sir.
take over the helm for a session?
Hey, I'm glad.
Let's see how good you
I
are
need
at
some
holding
rest.
on.
I need some rest.
I don't know if rest is what you're going to find with me driving.
I know.
Unfortunately, Jonesy wasn't much better as a backseat passenger either.
Greg, next time you do that, tell me so I can roll on it.
Dude, the last one I did a little hooky.
Jonesy, do you want to use our swim board to get on?
This will be my chance to dump his ass.
Got it.
In the end, Jonesy was okay, so we loaded up and actually spotted another island to check out on the way back. Hotel Island is popular with houseboat campers, with its wind-protected coves and excellent campsites. As the afternoon began to slip away, we thought it might be fun to try out the fishing gear Shane brought to us earlier.
Hey, man. Hey, is it Shane? Yeah. Hey, Shane, it's Greg from the Motion Show, man. How are you doing?
Doing well.
Well,
Trying to catch some fish?
Well, yeah, that's why I was calling. We were wanting to do some of this jug fishing, but weren't quite sure, like, once we threw them out in the water, did they just float around, or what do we do?
Just gotta keep your eye on them. Don't let them get away.
Okay, so they They just sort of free float out throughout the lake. You just got to keep a flashlight on them.
Exactly. And they're going to move around because you're going to use live bait. Have you caught your live bait yet?
No, we're working on that now. John, let's go get some live bait. With our smaller fishing poles deployed, Jonesy wasted no time in catching a few perch that we would keep alive in a bucket and use later as bait on the buoy jugs. After catching 7 or 8 perch, we baited up the lines like Shane had described and chucked the bumpers into the shallow water. Nothing left to do except settle in for the night and check the jugs after dark. Up next, rookie jug fishing pays off big when a monster is hooked near the boat.
Are you kidding me?
Dude. Then, it's airtime for the Motion crew as we show off another way to enjoy the lake. And a perfect sunset as our backdrop as we discover Lake Ouachita's Bird Island. It's getting pretty Hitchcocky around here.
Yeah, a little bit.
When Motion returns. Lake Ouachita near Hot Springs, Arkansas is one of the most scenic, untouched, and beautiful lakes in America we've explored. The pine forests here, exceptionally clear waters, and wildlife make this a top spot for summer recreation. As we prepared to spend another comfy night aboard the 80-foot Shirley Ann from Wake Zone Luxury Houseboat Rentals, I noticed one of our jugs we had baited up hours before moving erratically, so I went to take a look on the jet ski.
It's moving kind of crazy out there, but I got a feeling it's just a wind. We'll be fishing for Greg pretty soon.
We got a big one, boys.
Oh my God. My God.
Are you kidding me?
Dude.
That's a 15-pound catfish right there.
Oh, nice.
Dude!
Oh, look at that. That's your hillbilly catfishing right there, man.
After getting the fish cleaned up and put on ice to make for dinner on our last night, we finally slowed down for the evening.
Dude, we stuck that.
The next morning, clear skies and bright sun started things off right. Jonesy explored the calm waters of our cove by kayak as the heat and humidity returned for another day. By noon, with temps in the mid-90s and humidity at 85%, it was time to fire up another feature on the Shirley Ann. The water slide was calling our name. With a boat that's 80 feet long and a water slide that's off the back, it's plenty deep enough for some big air and big fun. It's easy to forget that the entire top of the Shirley Ann is a place to party, but we did our best to get this one going. When we come back, a postcard sunset sets the stage for one last excursion on Lake Ouachita we'll never forget. Arkansas is known as the natural state, and after our trip here to Lake Ouachita, we understand why. The lush pines, clear waters, and untouched shores of the lake make it a great place for a summer or fall escape.
If you can do it, a stay on one of Wake Zone's amazing houseboats is a special way to experience Lake Ouachita, and with boats of this size, the cost can easily be shared with several families. But when it comes to customer service, Wendy, Shane, and the team at Wake Zone are #1 in our books. As the sun set over Lake Ouachita on our last day, we headed to a shallow section of the lake where cypress trees emerge from the water, a place called Bird Island. Each evening, hundreds of birds, including cattle egrets, purple martins, white ibis, and herons flock here for summer nesting.
All right, we came out to what's called Bird Island out here, and really, you've got these trees that are partially submerged. Just listen to that. Just hundreds of birds, these egrets in these trees nesting, hundreds of them. Let's go get a little closer. Let's get in there with them and see if we can get a little closer. There's 10 nests in this one tree right here. I like it, we're just getting circled. It's getting pretty Hitchcocky around here.
Yeah, a little bit.
Seeing this amount of birds this close was something we'll never forget. And while it was amazing to be right underneath them, we also wanted to respect their space and not get them too riled up. So Jonesy and I pushed away from the island as the sun slipped behind the mountains to the west. There's no doubt about it. Arkansas has incredible outdoor beauty, and Lake Ouachita is a shining example of how special that beauty can be. Well, we had a great time exploring Lake Ouachita in central Arkansas. For more information on planning your trip to Lake Ouachita, go to livewellnetwork.com and click or search Motion. And if you want to join the Motion crew on the road or the water like Jonesy did, make sure you check out our Facebook fan page. We'll see you next time.